What an honor. How's everybody doing? Good. Promise not to do a big Spotluck plug here, but I did want to do a plug for two specific people before I get started. And that's my two parents, Dr. Cherian Thomas and Dr. Thomas Joseph, that made it here all the way from Chicago and have been incredible support systems for my entire life. So please. They didn't give me pockets here, so gotta dig for these things. All right. Thank you, President Chaplin, Dean of the Graduate School, Board of Trustees, Board of Associates, faculty, friends, family, and you, the graduating class of 2017. It was a great privilege to be here as we celebrate your accomplishments on this incredible day. First of all, be proud. I know the feeling, and I encourage you all to take it in. Remember this day and capture these moments. Most speakers would frown upon the use of cell phones, but as the owner of Spotluck, I say embrace it. So bust out the phones and selfie up, tag, post, and share this moment. Remember this moment, because I'm going to do it. So I don't fall over here. Let's see, guys. You got to need big smiles, all right? All right. See, it wasn't too long ago when I sat in the same seats, both inside the walls of Rosenstock, rushing to get my capstone to Dr. Jose on time, and on these very same lawn chairs, you know the feeling, wow, and also on the very same lawn chairs. And I remember being anxious to get through the commencement and fling my cap and career onward and upward. But remember this moment, don't rush it, take it in, and remember this ceremony. Be proud. What you've accomplished was not easy. And I'm not talking about the classwork and the deliverables. I'm talking about getting through the past few years while juggling full-time jobs, kids for many of you, and trying to maintain somewhat of a personal life. That is not easy, and believe you me, I know. I remember both the deliverables and the journey. I remember working full-time, commuting from Bethesda to Hagerstown, Hagerstown to Frederick, back to Bethesda. Essentially every day was Windshield Appreciation Day, and I'm sure you guys can relate to that as well. Today, we celebrate the total package. Not just the academic milestone, but the entire journey and your ability to have balanced the dynamics of work, life, school, while accomplishing this long-term and professional goal. What you've accomplished was not easy, and as I tell my Spotluck team every single day, if it was easy, everybody would do it. The diploma, sashes, tassels, and class rings are great keepsakes to remind you of this special day, but let's examine the intangibles. The lessons learned, friendships amongst your classmates, professors, and what's up here can never be mounted or monogrammed. These intangibles stay up here and up here with you forever. Every job interview, every project you manage, every team you join, and every podium you stand behind. Your mind is better equipped, giving you an upper edge for the rest of your life. Again, I'm incredibly honored to be here and deliver this commencement. I look back, and exactly 5 years ago today, and I can't help but think, what would the 2017 Cherian say to the 2012 Cherian? And outside of definitely learn the moves to Gangnam Style, it's still a banger in the future, I realized that this statement really sums up the best advice I could have received. It's not about finding the right job, it's about finding the right people. See, I've realized that the best ideas, best software, best patents, algorithms, etc. really mean shit without the right people. And without the right people, failure is inevitable. See, I've realized there are 3 key people to find as you adventure off this campus and set sail for the next journey and next chapter in your professional lives. Find someone to mentor you, find someone to compliment you, and find that someone to support you. From Bill Gates to Steve Jobs to Mark Zuckerberg, these incredible innovators each had mentors, compliments, and someone to support them. Mentor was a name used in ancient Greek mythology, but was later adopted in English. It is defined as someone who imparts wisdom to and shares knowledge with a less experienced colleague. For centuries, the practice of sharing knowledge to those less experienced has been utilized through Hinduism, Judaism, Buddhism, Islam, and Christianity. Whether it be guru, a sensei, rabbi, or simply an elder, Mentorship has been a vital part of our civilization's ability to progress forward. Find someone to mentor you. When I finished undergrad, I had an opportunity to work for Unilever or take on a job with Matthew, a family friend and entrepreneur who built an empire of manufacturing facilities throughout the U.S. I was fresh out of undergrad, and I distinctly remember my parents and this dilemma that I faced. And they said to me, Cherian, you're a marketer. You'll be great at Unilever, but if you really want to learn the ins and outs of business, real business, you should go work for Matthew. I listened. I immediately drafted up kind of the pros and cons list of both alternatives. Now, this was pre-Hood MBA, right? So I didn't have, the ability to calculate my LTVs, risk analysis, regression models, or outweigh the simple benefits of, hey, the British pound is actually worth more than the US dollar. And so, I sat down. I remember talking with my parents who are here today. And instead of doing all those things, I trusted my gut. I took their advice. And then I made a decision that would forever change my life. It was the decision that led me to find my mentor, Matthew Devasy-Chocola. Matthew set the bar high. As an Indian immigrant, he came to this country in the 1970s to complete his master's in mechanical engineering. With $2,300 to his name, he overcame racial discrimination, unjust holdups from the police, and even one-on-one encounters with the KKK. With minimum money, but maximum education, Matthew had the discipline, desire, and determination to build a multi-million-dollar manufacturing empire here in the U.S. Matthew taught me that BS only goes so far, and you must earn credibility to be respected in the business world. He was the reason I pursued my MBA here at Hood, and then later my master's at Georgetown. Regardless of our 40-year gap in age, he brought me along to every business trip, every banking meeting, boardroom, plant acquisition, auction, quick sale, etc. He took me under his wing, and essentially everywhere Matthew went, I went. Even though my institutional knowledge of the manufacturing industry was beyond most 22-year-olds at the time, I didn't have the academic degrees to back it. I didn't have credibility. I set out on a mission to earn those badges, those academic badges, and be respected in the business world, regardless of my age. See, Matthew taught me the importance of education and a bottoms-up approach to management. I'll never forget my first day. I get to work, I'm dressed in a suit and tie. I come in looking kind of fresh, and Matthew says to me, they're waiting for you at the plant. Today you'll be getting your forklift certifications, and then later we'll teach you to operate the cranes. And, I'm a marketer, right? So I go, getting the what certification and who's working what crane? What's happening over here? And see, what I didn't realize at the time was that Matthew wanted me to be respected from the bottom up. He made me trace every pipe at the plant, learn the bookkeeping, understand how the mechanical components of the hydropulper, agitators, boiler, steam system, and everything worked, and why. To be respected. To have credibility when talking to plant managers, industry experts, and other veterans within the space. Matthew taught me that in order for people to listen, you must have credibility. Not just through education, but also by showing others you're willing to get in the trenches and learn from the bottom up. Matthew inspired me to further my education without sacrificing time in those trenches, so I was able to gain both book smarts and business smarts. But more importantly, as a mentor, he systematically set me up for success. It just took me some time to kind of reflect upon this internally and realize it. After graduating the MBA program here in 2012, Matthew encouraged me to further my education. I completed the Master's of Leadership program at Georgetown University McDonough School of Business while working full-time in those trenches. It was this program that ultimately led to Spotluck and finding the second piece to my puzzle, finding someone that complements you. So I feel Spotluck is relatable to each and every one of you graduates, not just because it's an app and because it's 2017. It was a deliverable. It was my capstone. It was homework. It went from an idea to the #1 dining app on iTunes. To reiterate, this couldn't have happened without the right people, specifically that someone to complement you. See, the greatest thing about the master's program here at Hood and at Georgetown is both programs encourage group work, collaboration, and team deliverables. As frustrating as all the group work can be, it's indicative of the real world. The classroom experience allows you to uncover where you shine but more importantly, identifies your weaknesses or where you need compliments. As mentioned, when I started Spotluck, it was just an idea. As much knowledge as I obtained from Hood, Georgetown, and even through my mentorship from Matthew, I realized I had weaknesses. My vision for Spotluck wouldn't become a reality without the right compliments. Specifically, our co-founder and CFO, Brad Salem. See, Brad was a corporate attorney and CPA, working at a major law firm in DC. And although I somehow managed to pull off straight A's, including business law and corporate accounting here in Hood, those domains were really weaknesses for me, mostly because I didn't enjoy it. Knowing this, knowing the need for that complementary dichotomy, I literally wrote Brad's name into the original business plan for Spotluck as our co-founder and CFO. He didn't know about this yet. Now imagine that. Just put yourself in Brad's shoes. Hey Brad, you don't know it yet. We're starting a business together. It's right here in this business plan. See, I knew Brad's strengths were my weaknesses and vice versa. If you drew a Venn diagram and you had Brad in one side and myself in the other, there's very few overlap. And that's actually a good thing. And the places where we do overlap, that's where rests our core values, our conscience, our morals, and our synchronized mindset to do the right thing when making tough choices. Finding Brad impacted our entire business, specifically who we hire. Our dichotomy created a Spotluck mantra of hiring compliments, allowing our individual team members to be the CEOs of their own positions. Brad, I know you couldn't make it here today, but I wanted to take a moment and say thank you. Thank you for being my complement, and thank you to the entire Spotluck team for strengthening our weaknesses. Woo! Thanks, guys. You know, it really should be all of us up here behind this podium, but pays to be a Blazer and get that Hood MBA, huh? The third and final gem to discover is finding that person to support you. As you look behind and you see your friends and your family and your coworkers, you realize this accomplishment couldn't have been achieved without their support. You realize the past few years have been a personal sacrifice for you, but also your loved ones. At the end, you get the degree, and they get you back. See, over the past years, these people have shared the highs and lows throughout your journey here at Hood. Whether it's missing a wedding due to a deliverable or canceling a vacation because Southwest flights didn't jive with your final schedule, your support system made sacrifices for you. Please know that these mutual sacrifices don't stop as you enter the next chapter of your professional journey. That said, it's even more important than ever to find that person to support you. You see, the reality is that outside the walls of Rosenstock and off this campus, the antes are higher, the stakes are higher, and it's much higher risk. Graduate school is no joke, but starting a business, raising venture capital, acquiring customers, losing customers, product setbacks, managing cross-functional teams, and wondering if you're going to make payroll next week, that's a high-risk game. Mostly because the failure is no longer individual at that point. Failure can impact the overall livelihood of those you care about. At Spotluck, I strive to always be on. There's limited time, so it prevents me from being pessimistic or even showing my lows or emotions in front of my team. They won't find me venting or moping around the office regardless of how challenging things get. But let's be honest, bottling up those emotions can only go on for so long before you burst. And when you do, having that person to support you is ever so important. For me, that someone to support you is you, Katie. My wife, the most incredible person on this planet. Thank you for absorbing those emotional bursts that are kept hidden from the rest of the world. Thank you for always believing in me, regardless of this adventure. Thank you, Katie, for everything you do for me, our son, who looks like he's peacing out here, and the entire Spotluck family. It's your support and belief in me that indirectly keeps our team positive and motivated to achieve the impossible. Lastly, thank you for encouraging me to always further my education and providing unconditional support, just as these loved ones in attendance have supported the graduates throughout their journey at Hood. So why are these three people so important as you start the next chapter of your professional career? Combined with your degree from Hood, having a mentor, surrounding yourself with compliments, and finding that person to support you allows you to take calculated risks. Hood provided me with the foundation to understand business concepts. Matthew gave me the guidance and opportunity to understand real business. Brad's strengths negated my weaknesses, and Katie gave me the confidence knowing that no matter what happens, I'll always have her support. Starting Spotluck was risky, but it was calculated. I encourage each and every one of you to find those 3 people and take risks, calculated risks. Graduates, now more than ever is the time to stop dangling your feet in the shallow end and jump into the pool of opportunity. The water is warm and the risk to reward ratio favors entrepreneurs that take calculated risks. Now, I'm not saying everybody should quit their jobs and start a company. I'm saying find your missing pieces. Find those key people. Find a mentor and ride their coattails as far as you can. Find or be found. If you're not starting a business, be a compliment to someone who is. Find those who have supported you, and right after the ceremony, thank them. Squeeze them. Congratulate them. Your accomplishment today is just as exciting for them as it is for you. They too were part of your journey, and oftentimes you're someone to support you. And lastly, as we toss these caps, remember one thing. When the caps fall, we are now part of an elite alumni network here at Hood College. We owe it to ourselves to mentor Hood Blazers, compliment Hood Blazers, and support fellow Hood Blazers. Good luck on your journey to find or be found, and let's celebrate today. Congratulations to the class of 2017.